everyone, Derek here in Sun Valley, and today I'm going to talk to you about stories, which I know doesn't sound very techy, but I want you to think about stories and how they help you get listings, close deals, make more money in your business. So stories are how humans think. It's how we started communicating the very first, drawing things on caves, stories that happened to us. As a real estate agent, all of you have stories. Why you became an agent, what makes you good at what you do, what you care about doing in the area that you're living in. That's one part of your story. Another part of your story is knowing the market. And we have an agent that's going to talk very clearly about how that should be maybe the centerpiece, if not the entirety of your story, is knowing your market numbers. And a third way that we have a story that you can use is the Coldwell Banker story. I was online looking at YouTube things and I came across a video I'd never seen before. It's made about 4 years ago, the Coldwell Banker story. It's fascinating. You've got a lot of different material at your disposal, and the more compelling and authentic you can make your own narrative about who you are as a business person, as a real estate agent, the more often you're going to close the deal. So we're going to take a look at a couple things. I hope that the agent and the video help convince you, if I haven't already, and you're going to get to work on making sure that your narrative is authentic and compelling.
They created a beacon of hope from the ashes of the most devastating disaster in California history. They created an institution of tireless, loyal professionals, passionately dedicated to always finding a new way. And they began a legacy of innovation that's lasted more than 100 years. This is the story of how a college dropout, a deli machine salesman, and 250,000 homeless people would change an industry forever. And San Francisco was recovering from a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that left more than 250,000 people without a home. But the city by the bay wasn't the only thing in shambles. After public records were burned in the fires caused by the quake, self-serving, cutthroat real estate brokers turned pandemonium into profit by duping the tragedy's victims out of what little they had left. Appalled by the rampant lack of ethics, an energetic 23-year-old college dropout named Colbert Coldwell decided to create a company based on honesty, integrity, and professionalism. A year later, Coldwell met a former meat slicing machine salesman named Benjamin Banker, who just happened to be working for another real estate company in the same building as Coldwell. Sharing a vision for an entirely new kind of real estate company, Coldwell and Banker searched tirelessly to find new ways to champion their customers and pioneer their industry. More than 100 years later, through this combination of unparalleled experience and cutting-edge innovation, Coldwell Banker continues to lead the way as the first national company to launch a website, the first to have streaming video, and the first national company to offer buyer and seller guarantees. Coldwell Banker is a proponent of game-changing reinvention on behalf of consumers.
Well, I think everybody needs a narrative. Everybody needs a story because people like hearing stories. So Todd always says, know your numbers, and the numbers tell a story. And I think it's that simple. So maybe where you are month to date or where you are quarterly, I think it's a little bit different. I think you have to pay attention to it on a monthly basis. And maybe there's a big shift one month, and so that's a story, and you have to dig in and say, okay, why did that happen? What is the trigger that all of a sudden pushed the needle in one direction or another? I think being an authority is the most important part, and someone who shows their experience and their understanding, but I think you have to be 100% client focused, and it really isn't about me until they ask a question about me. I am not about to start tooting my own horn. I mean, I might be able to share, I have experience in this neighborhood or in this subdivision or whatever it might be, and I can share that with you, which in a very subtle way shows my knowledge of their particular situation, but it's not about me, it's all about them.
Okay, so here's the techie part, is that this should be in your head, but the only way it's going to get it in your head is if you tell the story to yourself a lot. Practice on family members, practice on fellow agents, practice your story. Get it so that you can tell it in the drop of a hat, when you're on the chairlift, when you're on the hiking trail, when you're in the grocery store. Get your story so that it's just part of how you think and how you talk. Make sure it's authentic, make sure it's compelling, know your market, know your numbers, and you're going to see a lot of business come your way because you have a story that distinguishes you from all the competition out there. As always, I hope that you're putting some of these tools to use, because the more you know, the more you sell. Get back to me with any questions or any thoughts about anything. Have a great rest of your April, and we will see you later this spring.